All right. I think we're live. Hey, Ryan.
Hey Dylan, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. For anyone who is popping in and hopping on, just checking this out, my name's Dylan Jahraus, and I have been on Etsy for a long time. Now I teach people how to sell on Etsy. But my background is corporate e-commerce. I worked for Zappos and Zulily, and that's actually how I know Ryan. Ryan, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and just share a little bit about how you ended up here on this call today.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey everybody, as Dylan mentioned, my name is Ryan. We go way back. We met in our e-commerce business days at Zappos, where we were both buyers for several years of various different categories. So my background is in e-commerce business, including product development, forecasting, and financial analysis, as well as all of the customer market share initiatives, including marketing and how to best present your business. After that, I kind of moved into account management for a few various firms, including corporate talent acquisition, working with other top retailers and companies. And this, so I've kind of bridged all of that together as the new director of customer success here at Dylan's company. And I started about a month ago. So it's been an awesome ride thus far. And it's so amazing that our paths brought us back together. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah. And for anyone who's joining in, we're going to do a Q&A here today. But what we do as a company, just for anyone who's not familiar, we've taught, let's see, almost 1,700 Etsy sellers at this point how to scale their businesses. So about half the people are just starting out their smaller shops. The other half are much larger shops. So some of them have done up to 8 million per year. So it is quite the spectrum. But today we're going to answer your questions. You guys submitted these over on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I think just about everywhere. And we're going to dive right in. So feel free to be posting your questions as we're going. We'd love to go through your shop, answer any burning questions you have as we're deep into Q4.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. We see your messages in the chat. So, as Dylan mentioned, we do have a few questions from our advanced announcements that we'll kick it off with as you guys start to put into the feed. So, first question, thoughts on ChatGPT for Etsy to write your Etsy descriptions in SEO? What do you think, Dylan?
Ryan, I cannot with ChatGPT, but descriptions, you guys, oh my God. Okay. So use ChatGPT with discretion. So do not let it spit out a description and paste that into all your listings. ChatGPT has some of the worst descriptions I've seen, just wordy, flowery language, not necessary key information. So the biggest issue is they're not optimized for mobile. You know, ChatGPT descriptions not optimized for mobile. If you want to utilize ChatGPT, you definitely can, but I would only do it for certain parts of your description and use a skeleton framework for the rest of it. So
Awesome. Makes total sense. What is the best way and how to write SEO proof titles?
So we have a great video here on the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, check it out on the YouTube channel. It is the SEO video. I did it specifically about titles. And it's really crystal clear. Our editor did a great job kind of showing how to write your titles, but titles are 10% of your SEO. So you can have an amazing title and the rest of your SEO could be like total crap and you will not get traffic. So really, take that, but don't forget about the rest of it. Check that video out. Maybe our team can pop it into the chat box if you are curious about seeing that video.
Awesome. I just want to welcome, we have a little message here from Girl Take Note Podcast. She's excited she caught the live. We're happy you're here as well. Welcome. Ooh, we got a question on the feed. So what kind of digital products can you create to sell on Etsy to boost sales and make money around Christmas time?
Yeah. So what I would not do is Christmas cards. Okay. A lot of people think, oh, I'll just like put some Christmas cards out there. You have to have a really compelling reason for someone to buy a Christmas card template from you on Etsy. I would probably go a different route, and I would be thinking about, Q4, end of the year, what is going to give someone purpose or utility? I'd be looking at, end of year tax kind of prep. I would look at some B2B items. I would look at how can you, help someone save time or make money. Maybe it's checklists, maybe it's things heading into January, goal trackers. So I wouldn't be thinking about Christmas necessarily. I'd be thinking about more of the B2B financial end of the year picture.
Absolutely. Okay, a couple questions about listings that we got from our viewers. So this can be kind of a two-parter. So how many listings are ideal? And why would a listing get a lot of views daily and also favorited, but not necessarily convert into sales?
Yeah. So the number of listings, this is the thing. I see a lot of people think, or you hear this on YouTube, you guys, right? It's like, you got to have 100 listings and then that's when you'll start to get sales. Okay, well, you get to 100 listings, nothing's happening, crickets. Okay, maybe it's 500 listings. I'll just blow this up to 500. Nothing's happening. And then they end up with 1,000 listings and they're like not optimized. So your conversion rates tanked. And basically, you have a lot of work to redo. So it's not about the quantity of listings. It is about the quality. So I've actually seen digital shops that have 14 listings and they make $7,000 their first 2 months each, 7,000, 7,000. So it's really about the quality and really the product market fit and the value proposition. So it's not a specific quantity of listings. It also really depends on the variety of long tail keywords you're using. So if you have 100 listings and they're all using, targeting the same type of long tail keywords, you're competing with yourself. You might as well just have 10 listings at that point. So it's not about the number, unfortunately. And then the other question, was that Ryan?
So it was, why would a listing get a lot of views daily and also favorited, but not necessarily convert into sales?
Yes. So friction in the purchasing process. That is actually one of our favorite things to do on the coaching team, where we go into your shop and your listings and we'll actually point out why someone's not buying, what is preventing them from buying. And the thing is, as an Etsy seller, like you're in your listings all the time, right? Like you're in there all the time, you're making them. And sometimes it's hard for you to see what is stopping someone from buying. And oftentimes what we'll find is, it would be impossible for someone to buy something without sending you a message to make to get a clarification. So friction in the purchasing process is usually a big reason for that.
Awesome. Just want to call out a fun comment in the chat from Stacy. She says she loves how we're doing a bit more POD and helping those sellers. She also loves your humorous side, Dylan. So just wanted to share that fun comment there. Another follow-up question about digital. So Girl Take Note Podcast wants to know, what are the best digital products to have in your store? Do you have any suggestions there?
So on Stacy's comment though, it's so funny. A lot of people think, oh, Dylan does handmade and supplies. So like she doesn't know print on demand. Well, we actually have about half of our students do print on demand. I don't think many people know that. In the top ones, they do over $100,000 a month, which I think surprised people when they learn about that. But we also have a coaching team now. So it's 12 of us on the coaching team. And about half of them are experts in print on demand. So we do have that support. But with digital products selling right now, I mean, the thing is, how do you want to spend your time? Do you want to create a bunch of listings that are $1? Or do you want to have a higher average order value, get the AOV up, and really serve fewer customers, but in more impactful ways? One of my favorite things, if I was starting a digital shop, I would actually probably tie in a service component to that. So I would learn like web design or something like that and sell website templates and then have a package where I sell the full installation. So for any of you guys who have seen my website, our website, didnt.com. I wish I had an affiliate code, but for this seller, but I bought this on Etsy and I paid someone like $1,000 to do the full installation. So I don't think it took her that long. She's an expert in this. And that's what I would do if I was selling digital products.
Awesome. Let's take a question from our advanced announcement this week. I think this is a good one for everybody. So what is one thing that you think was a waste of time or didn't help you grow when you were scaling your Etsy business?
Yeah. Oh, man. Writing things on paper. You guys, like planning. I talk to people sometimes who have like, okay, I work in my shop every day. My Monday is my planning day. So I write down what I'm going to do every day, the rest of the week. And they just spend a whole day planning. And it's like, what was the ROI on that? I am, Ryan can probably attest to this. I'm more of a like action. I have an idea that's like implement this in an hour type of person. But spending too much focus on planning, it does slow you down in the long run. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I would say one of the things we always say in the program, right, is action loves speed. Speed doesn't wait, so we don't want to waste time on, details that aren't going to make a large difference in the big scheme of things.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great call out, and just make it happen, get to it, and stay on track. So yeah, 100% there. Let's see, we're getting a bunch of questions in the feed. Let's see if we can grab one here. So let's see. Let's grab one. What's the best strategy for SEO to gain views in your shop? Is it product descriptions, tags, or titles?
Well, it's that plus a lot more than that. People think, oh, it's just like your titles, tags, descriptions. It's so much more than that for your SEO. And maybe we'll do a video about that sometime, but it is in the SEO lesson in module 3. So it's right in module 3 right away. I always recommend implementing that first, because you'll start to see results when you make changes in your SEO in about 3 to 4 weeks. I do say, give it a month. I want to set expectations low, but it's way more than just that. So it's that and a lot more.
Awesome. Here's one. Their conversion rate is high, 5 to 6%, they're saying, but not as many sales as they would like. What are some actions that they can take to boost their sales?
So it sounds like a big traffic focus. We need to focus on traffic. If your conversion rate is 5 to 6%, which, I mean, for any category that's high, the lower the price point, the higher the conversion rate we want to see. But I would say traffic. What's your traffic like? Are you getting at least 20 visits per listing per day? That's my question for you. If not, there's so much you can do with the organic piece of this to drive traffic. You don't need to pay for ads. You don't need to do Facebook ads or Etsy ads. There's a lot you can do without that. So traffic is what I would focus on every day.
Awesome. Next one I think could be really helpful for our jewelry sellers out there. So this person says they're selling a $925 sterling silver bracelet. Do you think, Dylan, it's a good idea for them to put waterproof on the title? They said that they've seen sellers have it on their title, but not sure if it's a good keyword. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what you'd want to do is probably do an A/B test here, where you do one with that, one without it, and then check the listing stats after about 30 to 45 days. And you'll scroll all the way down in that listing stats, look at the lifetime history, and see, are people actually searching waterproof to find that listing?
Yeah. Nice. Okay, let's jump over to one of our advanced questions. Let's see here. How to balance hand making large orders and still sitting in marketing strategies.
Yeah. So ultimately, in what I call the sprint, you want to max out your hours for the day. So if you are completely maxed out, you're filling all the work hours in your day with production, with implementation of strategies, I would take a look at what your hourly wage is. If you realize like, oh, I'm only paying myself like $7 an hour, okay, we need to get that up. Essentially, you're buying back your time by pulling a price lever. And then at one point, once you've really pulled that price lever enough, you can afford to outsource. So if you want to, it's an option. You don't have to, but really it's about looking at your hourly wage and driving that up, because you don't want to sacrifice basically working for free. You don't want to be working for free and not have time to implement strategies to be able to, drive up your revenue. So yeah, sounds like a pricing issue maybe.
For sure. We have a question from Jane, who I believe is in Canada. And she says, are Canadian sellers at a disadvantage when the Etsy marketplace is mostly USA buyers? She wants to get into the handmade category, but fears that there's not enough Canadian shippers. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's so funny. We have quite a few Canadians, probably second to the US. Canadians are the most popular students we have, but a lot of them do handmade. The thing is with this, shipping to the US is oftentimes going to be cheaper for you than shipping within Canada. So I would not be concerned at all. Our students who are in Canada selling physical items, they do great, and most of their customers end up being in the US.
Awesome. Let's see. Another question here is, if my page hasn't had any sales but has been first page ranking for a month, should they be worried?
So ranking on the first page, but no sales. That's it. Wow. That's really interesting. I would love to see what you're selling. It's either, to be my guess, or I'm wondering if it's so obscure, like something where the search terms are just so like specific that there's not much competition for it, perhaps. Yeah, I would love to see that. So feel free, if you want, if any of you guys want to contact us directly for questions too, maybe you have questions after this, check in the chat box wherever you're watching this, and we're going to put in a little contact link. So like for this person who asked that question, like we'd love to actually see the listing and take a look at it. So please, anyone, including you here, please send us a message to, clarify, and we can take a look.
Awesome. We have another question here from, looks like Desiree. She said she's new to our channel, and her question would be, if she created a store with the niche of spiritual elevating and spiritual alignment, what would the best products digital wise be that would work for her, do you think?
Yeah. I would say definitely something with purpose or utility behind it. I would not be doing like inspirational wall art. I would not go into wall art. I would do something like planner, checklist, journal, like with prompts in it. Maybe you could use ChatGPT to make that really easily. Something that provides value though, not just a digital download with like live, laugh, love, or, manifest on it.
Absolutely. Totally.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question, kind of going back to the shipping. Someone wants to know, does it make sense to sell to the US if you're in Europe, or do Americans, do you think, prefer to buy from other American Etsy sellers?
Yeah, it depends. Are you selling the exact same thing that the American Etsy sellers are selling, or do you have a unique color or style? Like here in the US, I sell things to like flowers, right? That are like $3. I'll sell it to someone in Germany. They'll pay like $20 in shipping for it because they can't get that specific item, that size, color, style. So if you are in Europe, if you want to sell to the US market, have something a little bit unique. And the thing is, it might just be something at your local like dollar store. I guess it's probably not dollars. Yeah. But something at a local store. And you might think, oh, I see this every day. It's just like our local craft store. Everyone here can, get access to it. It's not special, but maybe to people in the US, we've never seen something like that before. So don't underestimate what's around you.
Absolutely. The next question, I think, is really perfect timing wise because of our guest speaker we have this weekend. But she wants to know, what is the best way to start if she doesn't have much on social media? And for those of you that don't know, we do have a speaker on Saturday facilitating our coaching call that Dylan normally does. And she's going to give a great presentation on social media for Etsy sellers and also answer questions. So something else great to gain from our program. But what are your thoughts, Dylan?
Yes. So what to do if you don't have a social media presence? That was kind of the question.
Yeah, if they don't have much of a following, like how do they, what's the best way to start? Yeah.
So the key is, we have actually a really sneaky, it's not a sneaky lesson. I shouldn't say that. It's a great way to get a following of people like on Instagram, let's stay with Instagram, of people who are actually potential customers who would be purchasing what you like. And it's basically a way to get them to follow you. And this is actually how I grew our coaching Instagram account within 30 days to 1,000 followers. So it works really, really well. But you really need to get a following going. Now, engagement is going to be in your stories. So, do not underestimate Instagram stories. Make sure you have a good 20 posts going so that when someone comes to your page, you don't look like a brand new like spam account or something. And then really engage with people in the stories. That's going to be what you want to be on every day. And you don't have to have something fantastic to say. You could just do boomerang posts or something like that. Just a little, my go-to is just like a little cheers with your cup, saying good morning. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to have an amazing speech or something to get on there.
Absolutely. Here's one about kind of, listings and products. So they want to know, can they post products a couple of different times with a different main photo and different tags and titles?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. In the same shop. Now, the thing is, you don't want to just use the same photo. use that as a chance to A/B test something. Photos are a great thing to test because you never know what's going to have a higher click-through rate. So in the same shop, you can do this. You don't want to have the same product in separate shops, though. That's a big no-no.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anna wants to know, what would you suggest doing with a second store that is not working? Should she close it up or save it by trying to revive it somehow? What do you think?
Yeah, I would. I'm curious how old that store is. If it's not working, like no sales, more than 2 months old, I would just kill it. I just put out a YouTube video on Monday about what to do with a dead or a dying shop. Definitely check that out because I think that you'll find your answer right there. Yeah.
Awesome. And then Andraw's Art says they have a POD shop selling prints of watercolor paintings, travel prints, but they want to test new products. Some are handmade, personalized nursery baskets, and personalized decor. Should they open a new shop?
Watercolor. If it's a different aesthetic, I probably would. If the watercolor paintings, like the travel prints, are nursery friendly, then you could get away with this in the same shop. But if it's totally different tones and colors and different vibe, like if one is dark and moody and the other is like, pastel, like bunnies or something, different shops. But I would just take a look at the aesthetic and let that guide you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have another one here from Living Swedish. She said that she had a viral Pinterest post driving a lot of traffic to her listings, had quite a lot of sales, but the conversion rate still dropped from 3 to 4% down to 2%. Do you think this will hurt their listing and shop overall?
Not at all. Not at all. This is great for your shop. People think, oh, don't drive traffic with social media because it's going to kill your conversion rate. And then your shop's not going to be shown on Etsy. Not at all the case. So my top months, if you check out my Pinterest video on YouTube, it's when I was driving, I think it was over like 50,000 visits or something crazy from with Pinterest, primarily driving like over 90% of that. And it was great for the shop. So do not worry about conversion rate. Some of my best sellers, like my market leaders, my power listings, their conversion rate is like 0.7%. And they do over $100,000 in revenue for a single listing. So do not even worry about it.
Awesome. This is a great question for pricing from Steve Bond. He said he's curious about your pricing strategy. He has close to 100 sales and an average of around $5 profit per item. He wants to know, should he lower his prices until he hits a certain number of sales?
Yeah, I'm curious if this is digital or print on demand, what the competition is like. With this, I would actually do a full competitive analysis with you. I would want to dive into that and see kind of what the market is like right now, where else people are buying this before making, I have no idea even what the product is or who the customer is. So it's kind of impossible to say, but 100 sales, I will say that's pretty low. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is an interesting one from White Cottage Company. Welcome. She says, is it possible to ruin the Etsy search algorithm by getting all of her traffic from YouTube? She says they have 75,000 plus sales on their shop, but because of YouTube, almost none come from the Etsy search.
No, you won't ruin the search algorithm, but we definitely want to fix your SEO. So if you have 75,000 plus sales because of YouTube and almost no traffic from Etsy search, you are leaving so much money on the table, so much. So to me, I would move quickly on fixing your SEO. And so that you do get a much higher proportion of your traffic from Etsy search. What if something happened with YouTube, right? What if something was shut down? What if a video was, who knows? What if your account was hacked or something happened? You would not want all your eggs in one basket. So for your shop specifically, if you can actually send us a message and just say YouTube traffic in the subject line, or just mention this, we'll remember it. And our team, they're actually in the inbox waiting for you guys, Ava and Chelsea. But we would like to look at the SEO to see if there's work to be done there, because that could be an easy fix that you'd see results from within 3 to 4 weeks.
Absolutely. We have another question from our advanced posting about shipping. They want to know, is it worth shipping internationally? And is it more work to ship that product?
No, I mean, well, yes, it's worth it. No, I mean, it's not significantly more work. If you're using Etsy shipping labels, I would definitely do it. There's, yeah, I think people are intimidated by the idea of shipping internationally, but if you use Etsy shipping labels, you're well protected, and you'll just open up your shop to a whole new market.
Absolutely. We have another POD question from Jane. So she wants to know, when selling POD, do you recommend having listings with several variations in one listing, for example, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, or is it better to have one listing for each product, i.e. the t-shirt only?
Yeah, people overcomplicate their listings. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It's always easier to add layers of complexity, but if you start with the complicated listing, something that's too tough of a purchase decision for someone where they can't just mindlessly buy it in the middle of the night, like that's the threshold you want to think about. You want to think about a mom who's up in the middle of the night with their baby on their phone, half asleep. Can they buy something from you? You want it to be that easy. So I would say it's always easier to add complexity. I would not start with that complexity though.
Absolutely. Here's a good one from Melanie Peterson. Welcome, Melanie. She wants to know, besides maybe a loss leader item, is it unreasonable when starting out to list items that you have material to make only 1 to 5 of an item? She wants to use what she has and build to buying bulk materials.
Yeah, definitely. If you can only make 1 to 5 though, and you want to get sales on those specific listings, then you don't want that listing to die out afterwards. So we would actually recommend a really interesting strategy that we use for people who sell one-of-a-kind artwork and vintage items, so that you don't lose that history.
Absolutely.
But if you want to know more about that, just send us a message.
Perfect. This is another question we do hear frequently, so I think it'll be good for you to answer, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know, can they open multiple Etsy shops? They heard that their account would be suspended if they have multiple shops. What do you suggest there?
Yeah, not at all. So the thing is, a lot of people, including some of my students, have over 5 Etsy shops. The suspension thing is just a thing that happens now commonly. Even if you were just to open one, that can happen. So it doesn't matter if you have like 2 shops, 1 shop, 6 shops. Just the idea of opening any new shop right now, you likely, not likely, but like you very well could go through a temporary suspension. But Ryan, actually, we have a really great part of our program now that Ryan is spearheading to help people who have been going through that suspension process. Do you want to kind of share about that, Ryan?
Yes, absolutely. So we actually have a student that successfully was able to mitigate that. So we've actually run a couple of calls with other students that have had suspension issues by mistake or what have you, and they're currently in the appeal process. But we've been able to help a few people successfully get back up and running. There are various actions you can take depending on your situation and your shop. So that's something that we're able to help our students with as well. So we've had some success there. And usually with persistence, you can usually, find a solution. So it's worked really well for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, Collective Collection, welcome, wants to know, you've spoken about before making the prices of items in new shops very low to get traction. Is one of our strategies for people that don't know, called aggressive sales strategies within our program. How low would you recommend them making the prices? 10 to 20% discount, etc. And how long do you think they should keep the prices low for?
Yeah. So this is one of the secret sauce methods that I cannot fully disclose, to be honest, just because pretty much any testimonial see where the person has written the blank strategy did this. This is the strategy they're talking about. Anyone who's gone from 0 to like 30K per month in our program, this is the biggest, most powerful strategy. They would probably say outside of SEO too. That has really helped them do that. So I cannot give away all of that just because we have, almost 1,700 people who are, paying for that. So for that support. But I will say that people pull the price lever way too fast. And when you think you have traction, I have a YouTube video about this, but usually the first time you think you've gotten traction, you haven't. And you want to stay steady with pricing before before letting up on any strategies or changing too quickly. We don't want to swing the pendulum because I see people do that. They lose traction, and then sometimes they've missed that window where Etsy gives you that boost and you have to start a new shop because you've kind of shot yourself in the foot. So yeah, I would just be careful with swinging that pendulum.
Absolutely. Let's see. One of our advanced questions is how do you handle difficult customers? What works for you?
Oh man. Oh man. So really, I would say, kill them with kindness because usually it's not about you. Usually when someone is cruel, when someone is just extremely disrespectful and rude and going out of their way to be that way, there is something seriously wrong in their life. And honestly, like sometimes in my mind, in my heart, like I say a little prayer for them. Like something must be seriously wrong in their life to be treating people this way who they don't even know. So really, you do have to have thick skin. And there are people on Etsy who will try to take advantage of sellers. So have really strong policies. We actually have a set of policies that you can copy and paste. Most people don't know how to do this or where to put this in your shop to get the FAQ section, but we have a whole step-by-step guide for this, and you can take all these policies and they will completely cover you. So I recommend having robust policies and just not taking things personally because it's usually not about you. Yeah.
Right. Every situation is different for sure. Okay, here's a good one. They said, let's see, to increase sales, is it better to have free shipping and higher price or vice versa?
Higher price. Okay, so built-in free shipping or not? I would say it depends on the competition for sure. What is the standard for this category? But also, you want to have the most competitive value proposition possible. So value proposition is everything. It's the combination of your listing photo and your price. Okay, the price in search results, not including shipping or without, but in search results. If you are seeing that yours is not as competitive, and maybe your photo's not as good, your product's not as good, you might need to be, a little bit lower with your price. I would say if shipping is expensive and it's taking like a sticker that should be $2.99 up to like $10.99, I would not have it at $10.99 with free shipping, right? We want it to be a natural looking value proposition. So, okay, the value of a sticker, okay, if it's going to be like $12, you don't want to have it looking like that in search results. So I think it depends on the anchor price of the item. The lower, you might just want to do no free shipping. Much higher, like furniture and things, because I have some students selling like, $15,000 items, and free shipping with that. That's nice to just bake that in. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys, looks like we have time for like a couple more questions. So we'll try to do rapid fire here.
Awesome. Okay.
Jamie wants to know, do you recommend starting a POD shop in 2024? If yes, why? If no, why?
Absolutely. Yes, but I would not do a t-shirt shop. Our students who do over $100,000 a month with POD do not focus on t-shirts and sweatshirts. I would say you need to be very specific. I would not do a POD general shop either. So I guess I would say yes, but with some stipulations there. If you need help with that and you're nervous about something being oversaturated, just let us know. You could send us a message.
Awesome. And then last question here from Mika. She says she just opened her Etsy shop. Her main focus is custom and personalizing items. Mm-hmm. She listed the mock-up item with the text, "Your design here," versus creating a custom design. Is one better than the other?
I would say it depends on how natural of a fit that item is to have like your custom design on it. If it is like, something really bizarre, like an apron or like a kitchen towel or something where people might not expect to be putting like logos and designs on, you might want to be a bit more specific and say your design. But if it's an item like a promotional mug or a tumbler, putting something that looks clearly like a logo or someone's design makes sense. But it just depends on how natural of a fit customization would be for that item. Yeah. And then, so I think that was the last question. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes, but maybe we'll do one more. Let's
Okay.
just do one more bonus. Okay, so I think this is a good question to close out on.
Okay.
How do you stay consistent? What are some suggestions you have for that with your
Okay.
shop?
Yeah. So like ruthless, no nonsense Dylan's going to come out here. Um, but I'm serious, you guys. You will not lose if you do not quit. I'm serious. Like, you will not lose if you do not quit. And there are so many people who are looking for a quick fix, get rich quick. Like, Etsy is not at all that. You have got to be in it for the long game. Lengthen your time horizon. Think in years, not days. Certainly not days. People say, I fixed my SEO, and 2 days later, I haven't had sales yet. It's like, oh my God. Like,
Mhm.
stay consistent, do a little bit every day. Don't skip 2 days in a row. And, when you are thinking of quitting, so is your competition. When you are wanting a day off, your competition might be taking that day off. You have to put in one more rep if you want to win. It's just, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, devoting time every day. Carve out when it works for you. We have students in all different scenarios, whether this is your full-time job or not. So it really is about being consistent, fitting it in, and making it happen. So I think that's it, though, for questions.
Yeah, and if you would like to see more of these Q&As with Ryan and I, please just let us know in the comments. And then if your question didn't get answered, or if you have a question that comes to your mind, we're going to leave a link for the contact form. You could just send us a message directly. I'm in there. Ryan's in there. Our whole team is in there ready to help you. So just send us a message if you have questions, and we're happy to jump on that.
Thanks, everybody. This was fun. We'll see you next time.
Bye.